Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. You are tuned in to Mic Drop. I am your humble host, Big Mike, coming to you from my home. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Just had to turn off the fan because of the background noise and all that jazz. So, hope everyone's doing well. I'm doing pretty damn good myself. Just enjoying my Friday, chilling. It's a little bit gloomy out. I might work out later, but I haven't decided yet. So right now, I'm just gonna give y'all some edutainment for the time being, and then I'll kind of see how my day goes from there. So, today's topic is something I've been stewing about, talking about for about, I want to say probably 3 weeks. I've been trying to formulate the topic in a way where I want to be able to speak on it coherently and get my point across. And it's probably a topic that most people may not give a shit about, but it's something that I'm passionate about, so I'm going to discuss it. So I'm going to be talking about my beef with sports media and why I hate sports media in general, like the ESPNs, the Fox Newses, the Bleacher Reports of the world, all the trolly shit that goes on. I'm going to discuss that and my gripe and my beef with that. Obviously, there's some stuff going on in the news right now with an ESPN, with some a couple of female anchors have been one of the female anchors took a gripe with another female anchor, and I'll kind of go into a little bit of detail about that as well. Not into so much detail because that's not really what this vlog is about, but I'll probably tie that in and touch on that a little bit more as well. So, as you can see, I am wearing another jersey. This is of the Philadelphia 76ers of the great Allen Iverson, one of the greatest shooting guards, small players in the NBA history. And I'm wearing his jersey for a couple of reasons. Number one, obviously, I like the jersey and I love Allen Iverson. And I'll kind of go into detail why about that a little bit later as well. But I also want to touch into that because Allen Iverson is a perfect example of how an athlete is shown and how an athlete is profiled on social media or on sports media is why I can't stand sports media. So let me get into my topic. So one of the reasons why I've had a beef with sports media for years. I hate the way it's shown. I've hated it for a long time, but I'm someone who's a sports guy. So, I watch the ESPNs, the Fox News, Fox Sports, the TSNs, the sports nets of the world. Like, I'm all into all that stuff. So I was always watching it for a long period of time. I want to say about 2 years ago, I kind of got to a point where I was kind of getting annoyed and tired of sports media. What did it for me was when the Raptors were in the NBA Finals, and the way that they were showcased or way they were talked about in sports media like an afterthought. Like, the American sports media did not want to come to Toronto for the NBA Finals, Eastern Conference Finals, all that shit. They wanted the Raptors to go away, and it honestly irritated me. Not only because I'm a Toronto resident, I've lived in Toronto most of my life. I was born in Toronto. I love this city. I have my hatred for it, but I have more love for it than hatred. But they don't do that for any other American city. I'll give you an example. So, during the finals, game one, when the Golden State Warriors played the Toronto Raptors, and the Toronto Raptors won that game by, I believe, over 10 points. I don't remember exactly how much they won by, but they won that game by over 10 points. One of ESPN's writers was asked his take on the game. He basically said, no big deal. Golden State's fine. The Raptors got a game one. It's no big deal. Golden State's going to come back, win the series. I'm not really worried. Now, game two, Golden State did win. So, obviously, he's on his high horse saying how great the Golden State Warriors are, and the Raptors just don't stand a chance. Game 3 and 4 happened in Golden State. Raptors, oddly enough, win that game. Game 4 now. He is now concerned because now the Raptors are up 3-1. Oh man, I have a little bit of doubt. I have a little bit of concern. Really? And even the shitty Stephen A. Smith, who I really am not a fan of anymore. I used to be, but I don't really like him for other reasons, but mainly the series before when they were in Milwaukee, the Raptors, and they were asking Stephen A.'s opinion on the series, and Milwaukee had won both games, so they were up 2-0 in the series. He was like, "Oh, Toronto's not winning this series. Like, we should just go home. We should stop wasting everyone's time because the Raptors are not winning this series." And I'm just like, bro, like, it's still Raptors still have 2 games at home. So what are you talking about? And oddly enough, the Raptors somehow, some way, came back and won the fucking series. They won 4 straight games after that. Who knew? So again, and I'm not saying that these guys have to be experts and know everything, no. But I think the hot take bullshit, like the clickbaity fucking takes of these that the ESPNs and the Fox Sports have, I generally don't like. And that's like ESPN. Fox Sports is a whole other animal that I don't really care for either. Mostly because the personalities on that I don't like. Now, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp, former football player, have their own show, Undisputed, which I used to watch, and I kind of peek my head and watch from time to time, but I don't watch too often because, again, they usually just talk a bunch of bullshit that I'm not really interested in. Like, I think the one thing that really turned me off with sports media is this. Particularly with Undisputed was this. So I remember the start of the season last year, before COVID and the bubble and all this other shit. I was watching Undisputed, and I remember seeing they were doing a profile because I remember Toronto went to the Lakers when LeBron and AD were there, and I remember the Raptors won that game by 9 points. I remember because I watched a bit of that game as well. So you would think that Undisputed would have a more of a robust conversation about the game, what happened, how the Raptors did, this and that. No, not at all. They spent a whole fucking segment literally asking the question, is LeBron the reason why the Lakers lost that game? And they literally went for 10 minutes talking about just how LeBron played. Forget the other 9 players are on the fucking court playing. Forget that the Raptors, who by the way, are the NBA champs at this point, played and won the game. No. That's not important. It's all about how LeBron plays. And that's where I was just like, fuck Undisputed. Now I get it. That LeBron is arguably the biggest face, the most popular name in sport in NBA. I get that. So I understand the need to talk about him to some degree. But I also think the reason why there's a lot of people out there that don't like LeBron is because the way sports media portrays him. And the narratives that they try to spin. And they do a lot of narrative spins. Like for example, this past summer, like with the NBA like playoffs coming, the finals are taking place right now. And I think for me, what honestly turned me all the way the fuck off from sports media was, so there's a player, Damian Lillard, who plays for the Portland Trail Blazers. He got eliminated in the first round this year. Obviously, it was tough because he had a really good season. He's their best player on the Portland Trail Blazers. You have asshats, and I'm just gonna say it. I don't care. Like Kendrick Perkins, literally going on his show or going on ESPN, literally saying that Damian Lillard should leave Portland. Saying, "Oh man, Damian, you need to leave Portland, man. There ain't nothing wrong with you leaving. This is about your legacy. Ain't nobody gonna feel no way about it. Ain't nobody gonna be ashamed or judge you or nothing like that." And I'm like, really, bro? What the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, I get it that LeBron is your fucking boy. But Dame literally sent out a tweet saying that he needed to think about things. And ESPN went on this fucking crusade for almost a week trying to get Damian to go to LA. And I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, you guys are literally creating a story out of fucking nothing. But you're doing it to get clicks, to get mentions, to get traffic on your fucking page. And I'm just like, you guys suck. Like, I'm not saying that Damian is not going to leave Portland and go to LA. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying Damian never even uttered those fucking words. He never said it at all. And you guys went on your show purposely trying to spin a narrative. And then you wonder why there's so many goddamn athletes out there to do their own fucking podcasts. Because they don't trust you motherfuckers. Because you guys want to spin bullshit just to get clicks. And no one respects that. Like, I was just dumbfounded. And then, like, you have Brian Windhorst literally going on fucking ESPN, this other reporter, going crazy talking about the fate of the NBA and basketball is on the line tonight. I'm like, what are you talking about? It is literally just a playoff game, game 7. Basketballs will still be dribbled after this fucking game is over. It's not like as soon as the game is done, and if, let's say, I think when it was the Bucks and Brooklyn were in the series, I guess it was game 7, and he was like, you know, the fate of the basketball world is on the line. No, it's not, bitch. It's game 7. Pump your fucking brakes. I know you gotta sell it, but goddamn, bro, like, you're just this big drama queen, and it just drives me nuts. Drives me fucking nuts. I can't stand the shit. And then, fucking Bleacher Report. So, Bleacher Report is this app that I've been on since about 2012, and it basically is like a sports app where you can follow up to the minute headlines and updates on different, like, on sports leagues, different games. Gives you up to the minute ticker stats, all that type of shit. So I've been on, like I said, I've been on Bleacher Report since like 2011. But I stopped, I had to get off of it because it's just the most trolly fuckery that I've ever been on, and I fucking hate it. Like, I literally dread going on. I don't even like going on Bleacher Report anymore because it's literally just either people just saying crazy, wild shit like Facebook and Instagram that I've grown out of and I have no interest in, or just people saying stupid shit that makes no sense. Like, and it's not just the people that are, like, the writers as well are writing stupid columns that make no sense. Like, one person wrote a column saying that Kyrie Irving cursed the Boston Celtics. I'm like, what are you talking about? He was there for 2 years. They didn't win. How did he curse the team? The team has been to the playoffs every year since. They still have a very good fucking team. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, literally, what are you talking about? And then, you know, or I've seen people, you know, and then, again, everyone has an opinion. So, again, I'm not saying that, you know, their opinions are stupid. And I'm not completely shitting on their opinions completely, but I kind of am in the sense that you're just saying shit. You're writing these columns to get clicks. You're not writing these columns or these articles because you genuinely believe the shit I don't believe. I just believe that you're saying shit to get clicks. And I'll tell you, give you an example why. And actually, I was having a conversation with one guy on Bleacher Report, and he was honest and he told me. So, there's a community section on certain pages on Bleacher Report where you can kind of post stuff or say stuff or whatever the case may be. So one of the guys on there had pitched like this completely asinine NBA trade that didn't make any sense in any circle, any realm, period. And I said, that has to be the dumbest trade I've ever seen in my life. That trade makes no sense. And he actually commented back to me saying, no, I purposely did it because I just do it just to fuck with people and piss people off because people tend to come at me for me saying shit like that. So that's why I do it. And I'm like, okay, I said, you know what? I respect that because at least you're honest. But some of the shit I see is just stupidity. And I just don't respect a lot of it. You know, like, and another reason why I really, really detest sports media above everything else is because you have these athletes, these supreme athletes, the best of the best, who have great careers, great long careers in some cases. And let's say if they don't win a championship, they're labeled as their career wasn't as good, or they weren't as good. And then you have sports fans or idiots and trolls and shit spreading that fuckery on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Bleacher Report, whatever the case may be. Like, for example, this guy, Allen Iverson, like I said earlier, was one of the greatest small forwards of all time. This man was literally 6 feet, probably 5'11", 170 pounds. And he was out there dunking and scoring on everybody. Driving the lane, getting fouled hard, playing every game like it was his fucking last. Playing hurt, everything. Won the scoring title, won the MVP, won the All-Star MVP. took his team to the NBA Finals. And I'm a 90s baby, okay? And I'm a 2000s kid as well. I watched Allen Iverson play. And the reason why I take issue is because there are people out there in internet world that would, let's say, for example, say that Allen Iverson wasn't a great player because he didn't win a championship. And no, he didn't win a championship. He came close to 2001 his MVP year, but he never won a championship. But to me, that doesn't mean that Allen Iverson is not a great fucking player. You know? But then, when these star players now want to team up, like, let's say, with Kevin Durant going to Golden State, everyone wants to shit on Kevin Durant. Like, I spent the better part of almost 3 years defending Kevin Durant. And if I have one controversial opinion that goes against probably 95% of what most sports fans, especially basketball fans, think, is that I didn't have a problem with Kevin Durant going to Golden State. I had absolutely no problem with it. I thought it was fine. And you know why I thought it was fine? For a few reasons. Number one, he was a free agent. He was in goal and he was in OKC for 9 fucking years. He played there, balled out, whatever. He was a free agent. He could go and sign where the fuck he wanted. He doesn't owe anyone shit. That's number one. Number two, when he got to Golden State, who was the best fucking player on the team? He won two finals MVPs, and he was clearly the best player on Golden State's team. He carried those teams to those championships. And no one can't tell me that's not the case. The only way that anyone's argument about Kevin Durant going to Golden State and teaming up would have been valid is if Kevin Durant went to Golden State and didn't score a fucking basket and he just collected the rings and then he left. Then you'd have an issue. You have no argument with that. And again, you guys validate people's careers based off championships. So what do you think Kevin Durant or Damian Lillard or let's say a Luka Doncic might do down the road? Is go maybe team up to win a championship. But then you want to criticize them when they win it. So you got to pick. It's either you validate players when they win championships or you fucking don't. But you can't hedge your bets and play both sides of the fucking argument when it suits you. And I'm talking to sports media, and I'm talking to the dipshit trolls on fucking social media who talk all this fuckery about this player isn't good because this player didn't win enough rings and all this other bullshit. Like, what are you talking about? Like, any person, I'm going to say this straight up. Any person who is my age, I'm talking to people in the 30s, the 30 to 37 range. If you're going to, and you watched NBA basketball, if you're going to sit there and tell me with a straight fucking face that Allen Iverson wasn't one of the top fucking players of all in the NBA at the time when he was in his prime, or isn't one of the great NBA players of all time, you don't watch basketball, you skim through it. Because you can't tell me that Allen Iverson wasn't a fucking dog, that he wasn't a baller, that he didn't whoop, that he wasn't doing his thing on the court, giving it his all, and wasn't a trailblazer and did his thing. Like, he made me want to get braids, which was a bad idea because I don't look good in braids at all. So, you know, and I love Allen Iverson. So I think with sports media, we have to get better. But there is one app, there is some hope actually, because there is this one app called Halftime that I want to shout out because I love it. It's a great basketball app for people who like NBA sports and stuff like that. I think eventually they're going to be expanding to hopefully other sports, but they're a great app. I love it. It's just good conversation with good people about sports. It's not the trolly bullshit that you see and you hear on a regular basis from, like, you know, like Bleacher Report and all these other stupid ass platforms. This one's actually a really good platform. So if anyone's interested, I'm going to probably share the link of it in the description. So feel free to download it on your smartphone if you want to, because it's a really dope app. I recommend it. I love it. I was on it for a good 2.5 weeks. I had to get off it because I have work and life and all that stuff. But I'll probably go back on it today a little bit as well. But to sign off on this app, I want to leave with some parting words because that's what I usually do. And I'm going to leave with some words from actually the great Allen Iverson, because he actually said this in All the Smoke podcast with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. And it was actually probably, he said a lot of things in his when he was on that podcast, but the one thing he said that struck me the most is he said that, I've heard this term before, but he said, be yourself because everyone else is taken. And I think that's important nowadays. I think people kind of lost sight of themselves. I was having a conversation with a coworker yesterday at work about, like, online dating and stuff like that. And I think, and I told them like and I've said this on, I'm sure I've said this nauseum on my fucking vlogs, that the problem with dating or social media is that people are afraid to be themselves. You know, people are afraid to show the world who they are, and are afraid to, be themselves. And I think for myself too, I'm not afraid to do that. A lot of it's due to my age, and I'm older, and I just don't really give a shit, and I'm not worried about offending people because I don't go out of my way to offend anyone, but I'm more inclined to call out bullshit than when I see it. But I think it's important to be yourself, be you. Do what you want to do. Don't follow the trends. Don't follow the crowds. Unless that's something that you're actually interested in, then follow it. But if it's something that you're not interested in and you're not interested in, do what works for you. Follow your path. Follow your lane. And I think that's important. And I think we as a society have lost sight of that because we're so focused on trying to fit in. But I'm not worried about fitting in. I'd rather stand out. And that, my friends, is a mic drop. I actually lost my mic, so I'm not going to be able to drop it, but I'll just do a little fake mic drop. Anyway, signing off, but hope you guys have a great day, Good Friday and all that stuff. I am going to be doing a Feel Good Friday vlog in a bit, so stay tuned for that. And I'm out. Peace, love. I'm out. Take care, y'all.